gathered at the infamous Nazi death camp, Auschwitz, to mark 80 years since the day Red Army troops marched in and liberated 7,000 people. Today's ceremonies took place on what is known as the International Holocaust Remembrance Day. NBC's Jesse Kirsch is reporting from on the ground in Poland. And Jesse, I know we heard directly from some survivors today about the importance of never again. What did they have to say?
Chris, they warn about the kinds of incidents that you were just talking about back in the U.S. They worry and warn about incidents of anti-Semitism, of people being dehumanized because of their religion, because of their ethnicity, for whatever that denomination might be. And they implore people to heed the warnings from their past so that we do not relive these moments in the future. And what you're looking at right now are images from a place where more than 1 million people died. They were murdered. And most of them were murdered for one reason only: they were Jewish. We're talking about children, the elderly, disabled, targeted specifically because they could not be good slave laborers. And so they were instantly sent to the gas chambers, families torn apart. Children had a chance to live temporarily if they were twins, because then they became the subjects of human experimentation. These are the kinds of stories we've heard for decades, firsthand from survivors. But now we're looking at an estimate of only around 1,000 Auschwitz survivors still alive. I've had the privilege of meeting some of them, including Eva Umlauf, who says that she was less than 2 years old when a tattoo was stamped into her arm. Here's part of our conversation.
It was very small because the whole arm was small.
They did this to you at 2 years old?
Yes.
What do young people need to know about what happened to you and millions like yourself?
That they have to know that it's true. You know, because it's so unbelievable. This number is not only on the skin. It's deep.
It's just the testimony from one survivor. Beyond the words of those who were here when this all unfolded, there were piles of shoes, of eyeglasses, and for me, what really stood out, something we cannot photograph, we do not photograph out of respect for those who were killed, is the piles of human hair that they have here. Further evidence of the countless people who had their lives ripped apart and ended, again, mostly just because of their religion. There were also Polish people persecuted here, gay men, the Roma and Sinti, Soviet POWs, so many different groups senselessly, brutally murdered. And those who lived, living is really even a tough word for it, because they were really still meant to die. They just were meant to die slowly, and yet somehow some remarkably lived. And they're still here telling those stories, and now they're, you know, their numbers are dwindling, but the hope is that message still gets out. And again, their message overall continues to be never again. That is the resounding thing they want people to hear, is to try to make sure this does not happen again. This is something that happened 80 years ago, and they fear that there might be the currents leading toward that yet again. Chris.
Keeping that message alive is the very least we can do. Jesse.